Good morning and welcome to Scots and Socks. I'm Scott. He's Scott. Hang on, did I do that right? There's a bit of a delay on the video. Today we're going to talk about food insecurity. I wish I wouldn't say so much. I did it again. But it's something that's really, I've worked for 3 years in the food insecurity space, just measuring what's happening with Australians and people who are struggling to get food on the table. And it's alarming. It's alarming the number of people, like more than 30% of Australian households are struggling in this regard. And cost of living in the last sort of 12 to 18 months has been a big spike for that. But man, like, what are we doing? We're Australia, right? We're the lucky country. And people can't fucking feed them. Oh, we really? And for me, like I'm measuring at the macro level, right? At Australia for Food Bank, I'll have a second bite. It's distressing. But Scotty, you'd see this at the personal level, right?
Yeah. Like
I love how you go to the right. You just go.
I just go into scenarios where you sit there with people who have all of life's challenges in front of them, and then a Mercedes pulls up out the front and comes in and takes a couple of loaves of bread off the shelf because they don't have the money at home to actually to put food on the table. So it's food insecurity at the moment is not just those sleeping rough. It's not just it's people who are mortgaged to the hilt.
Yep.
And struggling to find a way out of it. That's the part for me. Like I look at society and I can't quite work it out. I can't. I see an abundant society that I'm going to go sideways a little bit to come back. Well, I keep seeing a lot of advertised charities working external of the community that we're in, and I really struggle with that.
Poverty porn, Scotty.
Poverty porn. Talk to me about poverty porn, Scotty Mac.
That was gifted to me by a very close colleague at Food Bank. Poverty porn. Mm-hmm. People who want to do stuff for them, not for others. So they feel better about themselves.
Yeah. Let's say, what is the purpose of that? Because
it's stupid. I saw you got real angry. Gee whiz. Would have been 6 months ago, I guess, when you went out with a bunch of people that were visiting people on the street like they were zoo animals.
Huh.
It's just disgraceful. 6 months ago, 8 months ago, whatever. And you rightfully were angry about that.
A bit of an understatement. Because look, it's just one thing I've learned is that we're all human, right? And I think we can all agree on that. And to utilize people's pain for an advantage, and I really struggle with this. Like, as someone that was on the streets at 14, I've actually got a little experience. Right, so it's not. I really struggle with having the advertising side of it because I understand that we need to get funds for things. Like I run the business of Smiles, right? It's a not-for-profit, and funding is tough.
Mm.
And we're so desensitized in life that we've got to showcase these horrible situations, but at what cost, right?
Mm.
And it's like really sideways, really, really, really sideways. But yesterday I went into the service station. I'm just looking behind the counter, and you can't see the cigarettes anymore. However, you can see the gangrene foot.
Right.
That is just disgusting. But I didn't feel anything. Like we just got to keep pushing the boundaries harder and harder and harder to feel something.
Mm.
And what's that got to do with food insecurity, right? What's that got to do with that?
Yeah.
Well, how hard are we going to push this boundary of abundance? How hard are we going to push this boundary of not looking after one another? You know, I think there's great places that do amazing things, but I think we need to look at things a little bit different. I don't understand why we have so much financial pressure in life.
Oh, man. And we can really look at, not to take anything away from what they do, because I think what they do is great. And one of my neighbors is a part of this organization. But Jesus, when I look at variety, we're cool. We're totally cool with the fact that Johnny's got spina bifida and he's going to meet his favorite AFL player. That's great. We love that. We love that story, right? But we're not cool with Eric, whose parents are on ice, who beat the shit out of him, who are off their faces, who don't make him go to school. We're not cool. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about Eric, right? And guys, that's just convenience. And when it comes to food insecurity, God damn it, like your neighbors, people are struggling out there. You're going to the top right again. So
yeah. No, I'm just thinking about.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking about how I'm about to deliver the next bit.
Yeah, cool.
I was gifted the opportunity to spend a lot of time at the Bayside Community Kitchen, and they right next door to the methadone clinic. So the whole purpose of that was to give people food, rest, services, clothing. And there's quite a few joints around that actually offer bits and pieces. But this was meant to be a community hub where we all came together so that we could grow together. But nobody wanted it there.
No.
Nobody wants to have the most vulnerable people in front of others.
Yep, exactly.
You know, like, and that was interesting. I'll never forget.
Scott, like, what a great case study in our limited ability to be empathetic.
Well, I sat there a little while ago, and this one really got me. I'm like, I'm gifting 20% of my working week to sit there and just be available to people, right? Like, it wasn't about the money. It was just about understanding and learning my community. It was really important to me. And I turn up one day and I was sitting there with a young woman, and I said to her, we got to know each other pretty well. I said, does it really make a difference, me being here? She goes, are you kidding?
Really?
I said, no. I said, I don't.
Oh, of course you.
I come here every week, and I'm just not sure that it's worth it. She goes, you make every single one of us feel human. You know our names. You talk to us like we're just everyday people.
Wow, Scotty.
That's why it's so important. And at the moment, like,
Years, man.
but I'm not there, Scotty. I'm not there. You
I
know,
was
like,
just this morning whose son is severely disabled and he's self-harming, right?
Mhm.
And I know that if I go and connect with him, I'm going to treat him like a dude, just another bloke, and he's going to love it. He's going to love it because he's being recognised and acknowledged as a human being, not a person with disability, a human being. That's all it is, man. It's so simple.
So what's that got to do with food insecurity? So I'm going to bring it back to that, right? Because
it lots, right? Lots, because the acknowledgement that we're struggling has to happen in a cocoon of safety. And if we feel judged, we ain't going to ask. Like nearly 70% of people that are struggling with this shit are not asking for help, right? And the charities will turn around and go, well, that's, shame and it's embarrassment. But it's also the lack of ability to ask for help when we actually need it. And that comes from a space of safety. That you're providing, that you talked about just minutes ago.
I got a lot I want to say, but it'll go off on a tangent. Like I'm just going to talk about something that's relevant to me right now. This has been a tough week. This has been a tough week, right? Another one of my mates called me up, lost another mate, right? Took his own life. And it's something that I think I'd love to say we're getting better. I'd love to say we're getting better with asking for help. I'd love to say that, but it's not true.
It's not true.
Because the statistics are staying the same. We've got all the awareness in the world, and nothing's changing.
Yeah, true.
I really feel that we need to value taking time out more often. This world in which we live in, and I think consumerism is not just purchasing products. Consumerism is what we take in consistently. These things. What we're doing now, right? Having these conversations. How much are you taking in? Whose information are you taking in? Why are you taking it in? The pressures of life, like I'm really trying to think my way through this right now because it's very real for me at the moment.
Yeah. And me, by the way.
I've been looking at ways in which we can do things differently. Like I run the Smiles for Life dinners just to create that safe place to hopefully have a conversation to keep people here. Yeah. To hopefully that somebody feels comfortable enough to say, I'm actually really struggling and this is the real stuff that's going on for me right now.
And just for you guys, like, I want you to hear this. There was a guy at a dinner, I want to say 3 weeks ago, and Scotty went and spent a Sunday with him. And he's going to remain nameless. But when I looked at that kid, I looked at someone that was, I reckon, borderline suicidal. But when he left that dinner, he was different. And what he got was the gift of acknowledgement. That's all he got. All he got was, hey, buddy, you're not alone. And Scotty's gifting this to people in what he does, right? And I want to shout it from the rooftops because it means something. It's very, very meaningful to people, and it's changing lives and it's keeping lives alive. You know who I'm talking about, but we don't have to say his name, yeah? But I saw it with my own eyes.
Huh.
These are suspenseful delays. They're awesome.
I want to say something, but it's not my place to do it.
About him or
No.
Oh, not about me.
There's a guy who has been a part of these dinners from the start.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why he was a part of these dinners from the start is because I drove 2.5 hours to pick him up to keep him here.
Yeah, right.
He comes from Bendigo to Frankston for every dinner.
Wow.
Yeah, just to have dinner with us once a month.
Wow. Wow. Are they your birds, by the way?
Yeah, no. It's just cockatoos out the back. They're shocking.
Yeah. Wow, that's huge, Scott. That's huge. But you know, and for any of you listening, like, why does this matter to food insecurity? Food insecurity is a struggle. It's the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy, right? So when we need food before shelter, right? And it's the very first thing to go, right? So please understand that we're talking about vulnerability and stepping up and asking for help because we're talking about food insecurity.
This is the funny part about all of this. It is food that brought all of this together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Hang on. Hang
on. So we have a chef, we have people that are trying to support the community by providing food so that we've got a hub where we can get quality food and something to eat, something in our bellies so that we can rest.
Yep.
We've got nutrients. Yeah. Like if we think about food as a whole, it's not just people just need food, right? It's the relationships that food bring in. Yeah, by providing food for our community and a place for somewhere for people to actually come and eat, it actually builds the community, brings people together. By bringing people together, we get the opportunity to bring in services and other opportunities to support people,
which you've done. Yep.
Yeah, and that's been the key to it. Like that, and I'm going to revert back to the dinners only because that's my experience. That's what I understand.
Right.
But when the dinners were free, we were having 50 to 60 people, guys there, right? As soon as we didn't have any funding, right? I bankrolled it. Then the numbers halved.
Yeah.
Right. Still great results, but we're missing half the audience because we couldn't provide them with free food. And the thing that I love most about these dinners and bringing the food together is the fact that we have people from all different walks of life. I've got a local minister from a church who comes to these dinners for him.
Yeah.
Like he comes there for him. He's somebody that looks after a community. He's always there, available for people.
Yeah.
But he comes to these dinners.
But he needs support too, right?
Comes as Ross.
Yeah.
Right.
I've met him. Yeah, I get it.
He's an amazing guy, but he just comes with him. Now, he lost his wife and daughter in a car accident 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You know,
wow.
and he's got somewhere safe. But what's the commonality? Food brought us together, a dinner,
Yeah.
right? And that's every single time we have these. It's the food is so important,
Mm.
you know, and that's when we look at food and insecurity. It's not just how we eat, right? I would encourage you to do something a little bit different if you're in the city today, or if you're in it and you see someone that is doing it tough, you know they're struggling. Have lunch with them,
Oh, dude.
right? Don't
Love
just buy them food. Sit and have lunch
and,
with them.
and sit and eat with them. Yes, absolutely.
But I want to talk about how to do that, right? Because that's something that okay, I'm going to stand up for a sec. I'm actually going to talk about it because the other day I went walking with Dr. Jim, Dr. Jim, Dr. Jim, and Sam Maley. We went walking the streets and we connected with the community. And these are two guys that really do know how to connect with people, right?
Yep.
But there was certain things that had to change for them to be able to connect with people. So I'm going to stand up for a sec. Okay. All right. So
different people.
One of the things is when you walk up to somebody, right? Don't stand over the top of them, yeah. Because if you stand over the top of them, you've got an issue with connection.
It's power
right?
imbalance, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So either go down on a knee, right?
Yep.
And get down. Where they are. Right, just one knee. Just meet them where they're at. Alternatively, side by side's even better.
Yeah.
Right, side by side.
So basic, but it's so important, right?
It is, because you need to not be a threat.
Yeah, correct.
There's fear both ways. Don't worry about that. What is this person like? Most people on the streets have been through things that are very unpleasant, so they have a differing response to things.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like we talked about before, right? About the CEO sleep out and what a joke it is, because it's very different than sleeping in a goddamn stairwell, wondering if you're going to get the shit bit out of you, right?
Correct.
For your stuff, right? So yeah, I mean, but it's not. You know what that brought up for me? When I coach kids in sport, I do the same thing.
100%.
Drop a knee.
Yeah.
I'm there with them, right? Mm-hmm. Because I don't want to be that authoritarian. Like, hey, I grew up in Natties. That's what I had. But that's not what these kids need. What they need is a connection, right?
Yeah, I mean, look,
with people that are vulnerable, right? They need you to reach in, and they need you to show that you're trustworthy.
I want to go into how to have.
But I love the idea. Can I just say? I just want to wrap that up. I love the idea of having lunch with them. I love it. And God damn it, man! If we can encourage like 5 or 6 people who are listening to this to do that in the next week, you're going to change some lives. You're going to change their perspective of hope, right? Because you gave a shit.
Yeah, and I can't. If anyone's watching this, they want to come for a walk with me, just reach out. Right?
What are we doing the walk in Freya, Scotty? What dates are that? Because I was looking to be
the 14th of December. We're doing the Smiles for Life walk in Frankston.
Cool. Okay.
We're going to be out and about walking the streets.
So, guys, if you want to come and do this for real, and I promise you, it's life changing.
Yeah.
14th of December, Freya. Let's do it. Come down. Reach out to me.
To be honest, Scotty, I want to keep that with the guys who have on. So for the last 12 months, all the guys that have been a part of Smiles for Life, we're going to walk together, and I want to honour that.
Okay, fair.
But I do want to do it in Melbourne before Christmas. There is a financial cost to doing it.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
But yeah, no,
what do you think? I reckon Looking at the diary. What about we do it on the 21st? Oh no, the 20th,
What day's that?
Wednesday.
Okay.
I don't know, but anyway, guys.
I can do that. In Melbourne, 20th of
Yeah,
December.
I reckon.
Oh, okay.
Bronny's up. She's up for it.
Yeah, I hope so. All right. But so let's tie this back in to food security again, right?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
I think it is time to do things a little bit differently in the aspect of how we look at food insecurity. Now they do the barbecue. I think it's Sunday afternoon, Victoria Market, where they cook for everybody, and then they bring food in.
Okay.
I think the Soul Cafe do an amazing job up in Newcastle.
Yep.
You know, the local to community is somewhere where I'm going to go and have a look today. That is also doing an amazing job where it's just volunteers providing food in the community. But I think what we can do to support these people is go and have lunch at these places. Yeah, go and sit there and have lunch. Sometimes it's just being present. Your time and your presence can make a difference to people.
Totally. We want to break down the barriers of people not asking for help. We have to make it acceptable and okay. And the only way we can do that is to reach in.
Role model, right? This week's been a challenge, and I look at all the things that can be done. I look at all the things that we need to do in order to make a change, especially in around men's health. And I'm a little bit tired of all the statistics being thrown around, and because they just don't change. In reality, we actually have to lead by example. We actually have to actively seek out places to go so that we can showcase to our kids, like for me, for you, Scott.
Fair. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's not tell our kids what to do. Let's do it.
Them.
Yeah, 100%. And
it's not hard. Right? It's not easy to do it, right? Because you have to go beyond your own hurt, right? But that's the job.
How do I say this without offending? I'm not great at that.
You always offend me.
Yeah, well, so who needs to take responsibility for this? Who needs to take responsibility for, the opportunities to change things? Right. Why do middle-aged men need to do this? Why do we need to lead?
It's funny you should ask that. I actually was talking to someone the other day, and guys have become really good at eating shit sandwiches, right? And they get to their middle age and go, fuck this, right? I don't want to do this anymore, right? But they don't know how to undo it.
Right.
Yeah. And that's where they need help, right? Why do middle-aged men struggle? Because we have conditioned ourselves. Like, man, when I interviewed dudes in 100 days in 2021, I couldn't believe how much struggle they were enduring without talking about it.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump on it just because of time. We're going to go to the audio.
Yeah, shit.
But here's something.
Yeah.
Right? What if the middle-aged men have just had enough life experience that they're starting to feel uncomfortable knowing that the things that they've learned, they could do better. They just don't know how to, right? First 20 years, we're given all of the values that society, our parents, have put into us. The next 20 to 40, 20 years, we basically make all these mistakes and have all these life lessons.
True.
From 40 to 60 is hopefully where we get to implement them. That bracket 40 to 60 is the bracket that needs to, that I would love to see, doesn't need to do anything, but love to see step into the opportunity of owning their stuff, owning the lessons that they need to learn in life, that they have learned in life. And then 60 to 80 is the golden years for me. They're the years that if our 60 to 80-year-old men share their life experience, the last quarter of their life, right? That's the gold that they get to gift to all of us.
Yeah, sure.
And that's why I'd love to see more men stepping in. And it's fascinating at these dinners. The greatest thing that happens is the differing ages that step in and talk, and we learn from one another's experience.
Yeah,
it's extraordinary.
It is.
Mm.
And speaking of extraordinary, we've got a live audio that kicks off, a minute ago. So I'm going to kick that off, and I'm going to kick us out. I'm going to go.
How do I get on the live audio?